So today we're going to go through exactly how far we can take Power BI with Claude Code. We're not going to use Copilot. We're going to use Claude Code because I don't have any premium licensing. I don't have Fabric. We're not going to use any skills. We're not going to use any MCPs. We're just going to give Claude one prompt on a Power BI PBIP file, and we are going to try and do the following list of things. We're going to have it create our relationships. We're going to create 15 measures. 2 of them are going to be complex measures. We're going to have it organize those measures into folders. It's going to friendly name and format all of our columns on all of our tables and all of our measures. We're going to have it make 2 visuals, one that's super basic and one that's a little bit more complex with some conditional formatting. We're going to do all of this in one prompt. All right, let's get started. So here's my Power BI file. This is a bunch of raw tables that are not friendly named. There are no relationships. There are no measures. I'm going to have you check a couple of settings right off the bat. So the first one, if we go to File, Options and Settings, Options. Double check that you have under data load your auto date time intelligence off for the current file. I leave this off all the time. So what I'm doing here will work with existing files, probably varies somewhat based on the complexity of your data model. We do want to give it at least one example of things to work with that we want it to do. So I'm going to create one relationship and have it create the rest. So this can be any relationship. Let's go with, for this one, just our industry dimension. So I'm just going to relate those two. Not all of them have an industry, so there's some null values. That's okay. Back on our report view, I'm going to create one visual. If you're using Power BI to style visuals, you'll want to create an example with exactly the format that you want it to use so that it can see what you've done and then replicate that across other visuals. But for this, I'm just going to drop a measure in here. If you don't have any measures yet, I'm going to make one just so that it has something to work with. Again, it helps with the pattern recognition. I like to keep my measures in a separate measures table. So I'm going to go to enter data and just create a new table called measures. I'm going to call it underscore so that it goes to the top and load it. And in here, I'm going to go to new measure and just make any measure. I'll have it count the rows in one of the tables, for example. All right, I'm going to drop that into the visual just so that it has something to work with. I'm going to go to Save As. So we're going to save this file, but we're not going to save it as a PBIX. We're going to change the type to a PBIP file. What that does is it breaks down the metadata and the content of the Power BI report into a bunch of small files, like hundreds of small files. And that's just easier for LLMs to digest and to modify. And save. Okay, now we're going to head over to Claude Code. So I use Claude Code in VS Code. This video is not about how to install Claude Code. If you don't already have it installed, there's tons of videos on YouTube on how to install it. This is about how to use it. So we're going to open up the folder that we saved our report to. This is the wrong one because it's from an earlier recording that I forgot to turn off datetime intelligence for. So here we go, top level of this. Don't go into the report or the semantic model folder, stay at the top level. And I'm going to open up a terminal. I'm going to do the terminal menu, new terminal. I'm not going to use the add-on for Claude Code and VS Code because I don't like how it behaves as much. But I'm just going to type in Claude, hit enter, trust the folder. So we're using Opus 4.7 today. That's, as of the time of this video, the newest model. If you're using an older model, you might run into an error when you first open the Power BI file when it's done. If that happens to you, just copy the error, paste it back into Claude, tell it to try again, and reopen it again. I did get this to work with 4.5, so it can still handle it. It's just you have to do more troubleshooting on it. So I'm going to close Power BI and we're going to copy and paste our prompt into the window. So here's my prompt. I basically just give it a little bit of background information. So for example, when AI modifies Tyndall, it doesn't always realize that it shouldn't be adding code comments and line breaks in there, and that'll break the Tyndall. So I tell it explicitly not to do that. I tell it to use human-friendly names. And I give it a link to Kurt Bueller's GitHub. So Kurt Bueller has made an amazing resource for using LLMs with PBIP files. It essentially gives the LLM a framework to interact with the PBIP in the form of a skill. All I'm going to do is link that to the LLM. I'm not going to go ahead and use a skill here because I want this to be more simple and approachable, but I still want it to know that that framework exists so that it can use it if it runs into any problems. And then we have the steps down here. So I'm going to put this in the video description. If you want to use it for anything, you can copy and paste it, do whatever you want with it. So we're going to paste it in here, hit enter, and we're going to let it go. I'm going to go do the laundry. So I forgot to explicitly point out that we did not give Claude any particular information about our model for this. So what it does is it queries those metadata files inside the PBIP folder, and it looks at everything. It looks at your column names. If you're not explicit about what kinds of measures you want it to create, it just takes its best guess. So it does a fairly decent job, I would say. It's also doing something super weird with the letters. I don't know if you can see this. Happened last time I did this too. I think it's a bug in VS Code, but it doesn't seem to affect the actual output, so it's fine. Interesting that it's actually changing the diagram layout. I wonder if it actually arranges them so you can see them. I remember it doing that last. I just realized that I forgot to point out that you should always create a copy of your Power BI file before you set AI loose on it. The PBIP structure works really great for version control. So you could use this with GitHub or Azure DevOps or whatever, but it does break things occasionally. Okay, so just make a copy. Doing some awesome stuff with the letters there. So we're waiting until after we've done this to create the more complex visual because it needs an example in order to complete the conditional formatting. So I tried without, and it was unable to do it without a proper example. I think because there's not a lot of content, PBIP files floating around out there on the internet that it can use as an example. All right, let's go check it out. This message is normal. We need to refresh the data set in order for everything to line up. I'm going to do that. All right, so you can see that it made a visual. It's not a particularly useful visual, but we didn't tell it to make a useful visual. We told it to choose whatever it wanted. That's fair enough. If we look at our model and zoom out a little bit, you can see that it's created relationships between our tables. I'm going to drag these over so we can see what's going on here. All right, so this is our primary dimension table. This is our primary fact table. We do have a couple of additional fact tables here and here. Our date table is related to both of these three, all three, several. And country is related to the tickers, which is what we want. And industry is related to that also. So this looks pretty good. Well, let's come back here and check our measures. So our measures are divided into folders. It left in our example measure, so I can delete that. And this column is just a part of the creating a table. By default, it'll create column 1 on there that you can delete. I'm going to remove both of those. Let's take a look and see if they're formatted. So this one is a count. It has a comma. That's what we want. So just as a check, let's dump a bunch of these measures into a table. That's my favorite way to check and see if our model is working and our measures are working. I'm going to take our ticker and dump our measures in there. So maybe this one, this one, this one. So this one, it looks like it was a return amount, but it's not formatting it as a percentage. So it missed that. That's okay. I can format it as a percentage. All right, let's sort by something. So that worked fairly well. So these aren't necessarily the measures I would have picked knowing my data set, but I'd expect that if I gave it specific instructions about which types of measures to create, that it would do quite a better job at that. So you probably noticed that all of our tables and columns are renamed. So this is probably like a good 100 or so columns that it renamed for me. If you have an existing model with existing measures, be careful having it rename things because it may or may not remember to update the references to those things in the measures. But it's really good to do right at the beginning so that you don't have to go through and do it one by one manually. Let's check our date field. So the date fields always annoy me in Power BI, and they will always default to being like Sunday, March 25th, 2025 instead of a short date. So let's check a date field and just see. Yeah, so it formatted those nicely. That's great. So next we want to have it create a more complex visual with conditional formatting. So here's where it ran into issues. It really wants an example of this. So what I did was I pulled the JSON for another visual I have from my design course on Udemy, and I plugged that into Claude, and it was able to use that to produce conditional formatting on a visual in Power BI. So what I've done is I saved a copy of it. here. So I'm going to take this and drop it into our VS Code window here. So you do have to close and reopen the PBIP every time you make changes with it with an LLM. That's one reason why some people use Copilot, but I feel like it's more flexible than Copilot. So I've dropped that file in there. I'm going to give it some instructions about how to make this visualization. And we're going to hit enter and we're going to see how it does. So I have noticed that LLMs seem to be much better at creating visualizations outside of Power BI than inside of Power BI. I think just because of the complexity and the lack of learning examples for it to work with. Okay, so it says it's added a pivot table for us. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe I'll put the conditional formatting JSON into GitHub and put a link in the video description in case somebody else could use it. I should probably copy that error message. Oh, there we go. Okay, so something to know about stock data is that not every stock has a sector, so that's why there's some blanks up here. You could filter those out if you wanted to. But it did manage to make a visual with conditional formatting that is somewhat vaguely useful. Cool. Okay. So it did manage to complete all of our tasks. Would I work like this every time? Probably not. I would use it to friendly name all of my columns and all of my tables when I get started. I would use it to troubleshoot measures. I would use it to troubleshoot model issues if you're not super familiar with data modeling. But I don't think that I would have it create visuals for me generally ongoing right now with the current state of things. Okay, so thanks for watching and I hope you have a great day.